All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to give you some context for the one goal, the singular mission we are on in building our online business to 20 to 100K a month in recurring profit. Some of us are at various stages. I know for me, I'm at like around 35K a month. The goal is still 100K a month recurring profit. But I want to give you context on how I've gotten to where I am right now, the path moving forward. Because without context, everything that I teach, if you go through our free courses, it's not really going to make sense. So I'm going to share my journey. So buckle up because I'm going to share everything from start to finish in the last 14 years. And I'm just getting started, right? But I'm going to share everything up until this point to give you some context so you can understand a little bit of who I am, right? Because whoever you're learning from, right, you should understand their values. What value system are they building on? How do they see the world? Does it resonate? Because my goal is to be authentic as possible in this online world, right? I don't try to please people just to say what they want to hear. My goal is to simply be myself and help people. And if that's not enough for you, totally understand. I'm not the guy for you. So you should be able to answer that question at the end of this video. You should be able to see if I'm someone that you want to continue learning from. All right. So that's the goal. That's what we're going to dive into here. That is me running my gym, which I started in 2010. Right? I graduated college. I was 24 years old. I tried to get a job at Verizon. Couldn't get a job because I had a record. I know I look like such a thug, right? But got into fights and whatnot in high school. Long story. I won't even get into that on this video. But couldn't get a job, which is the biggest blessing that happened to me, right? Because it caused me to go down this path of how do I create a business for myself? How do I make money for myself? And I was doing a lot of research online, and I remember my dad got this training on information marketing. And it was like I stumbled upon like a gold mine, right? Like this guy taught you how to package information and sell it. Like there's no product, you're just selling information. And that was back in 2010, and I was just like everything inside me lit up. Like, yes, this is the path to freedom. I need to do this. But I have no idea where to get started. I have nothing, I have no information to sell. Like I have no idea. So during my research, I found these guys' blog, Bedros Keuilian, in the fitness industry. He's a mentor, and he taught people how to start gyms. So I figured, hey, I like fitness. Let me see what's going on with this opportunity. So I actually met up with them down in, was it Orange County? I believe their headquarters was. It was him and Steve Hockman at the time. And they sold me on Fit Body Bootcamp. It wasn't a franchise. It was a license at that time. But I love the guys. I felt confident that they can help me really turn this into a business. And that's what I did. I signed up with them. I started training people for free just to get the word out. And my main goal was really to just make a few $1,000s so I could move out of my dad's house. You know, at that point in time, things were a little toxic and just was tired of being in that environment. So I wanted that autonomy. I wanted that freedom to be able to be on my own, to make my own money. So I'm not a slave to anybody, right? I've never liked people telling me what to do, right? A little bit rebellious. So I wanted to be able to make my own decisions. And I hate being restricted, right? My whole mission in life was always about freedom, like many entrepreneurs, right? I want that freedom of time. I want that freedom of money. And during this phase of life, it was for sure just very basic. Let me make enough money to get out of my parents' house, live on my own. And I was 24 at the time, just graduated college, right? So within 2 years, I started training people free, like I said, and I rented space from a cheer facility to train clients. And man, I remember the first time someone paid me $600. Like that was life changing to think like, okay, this actually works. People can really will pay me. Because you know how it is when you're starting something new, like there's this belief like, I don't know, like this is not going to work. This is a scam. And it's like, no one's ever going to pay you. And there's a lot to go through. And I think that's why most people never start businesses, right? They get stuck because that's a lot of beliefs you have to overcome, right? I mean, that's why I believe business is like the best personal development strategy of all time. So Within 2 years, I moved into my own facility, as you can see here. I found this place and it just worked out perfectly. It was on this beautiful hill where I could open up the back warehouse and watch the sunrise every morning, wake up at 4:30, go and train sessions. And I built it up to a sustainable place. But, life has its way of taking you in a different direction. And in 2012, I basically had a change of heart. I was tired of just training people. I started really experiencing God in a different light. My passion really became about pursuing the Lord and really understanding who He is, who I am. And I just lost interest in making money and helping people physically, right? So I found this ministry school, long story short, up in Northern California. And everything in me knew that that's where I was supposed to go. That's where I was supposed to be. I had a dream. If you know me, I'm definitely weird like that. I believe God speaks to me in my dreams. And so far in the last 14 years, He hasn't proven me wrong. I've gotten significant wisdom in my dreams, like when I'm sleeping, right? So I took that as confirmation and with my desires and talking to my pastor, and he's like, yeah, man, you should do it. So I partnered up with my brother. He took over the gym. In a matter of a few months, I was gone and I went up to Northern California to this ministry school, and it was the best decision I've ever made. One, because I met my wife there, right? And it was a beautiful time of like therapy. It wasn't one of those religious like seminary type things because I'm just not into religion in that sense. I was hungry to see God in His purest form, at least to the extent that this church was able to express. And I was attracted to it. I was attracted because they really valued the Holy Spirit. They valued His presence and His word. So I had a beautiful 3 years there where I matured tremendously. A lot of inner healing and a lot, like I said, therapy and just really going through an identity upgrade, right? Understanding who I really am as a son instead of having my identity so wrapped up in how much money I make and all of these external things. That was really the biggest thing I got out of those 3 years. It was like a settling. I remember driving up there, moving up, and with a couple friends, we decided to go to school. My main mission was like, man, I really just want to be comfortable in my own skin. Like that was my goal. Like I just really want to be comfortable in my own skin. And I know that this is the path that's going to get me there. And that's exactly what happened. Instead of having to always be the guy that had the right thing to say and my identity, like I said, is just completely wrapped up in looking like the cool guy or the jock, because I was definitely that persona, right? I was able to embrace a little more of that authentic dynamic of where I'm comfortable with myself, my mistakes, my failures. I don't always have to have the right thing to say in every social circumstance. So that was my 3 years. And the cool thing was I had a business my brother ran, and that was my first taste of freedom, where for 3 years I didn't have to worry about money. I also wasn't building, so there's that downside. But I brought in like $3,000, $4,000 a month passively because my brother ran the business. I just collected a check, and it was good. It was good. It was very good because I can focus purely on what God had for me in that season of life. So anyway, I ended up getting married in 2015, and the gym started tanking. Okay, things started going south, and I remember thinking like, man, I need to figure out some other ways to make money. So I tried to do this whole online coaching thing, right? Help people with their health and fitness. And I got Jeff Walker's product launch formula. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he has this program that teaches you how to build a product and launch it. So I made like these 3 videos and like put all this effort into creating this product, and it was crickets, right? I forgot one fundamental thing of like how to drive traffic to the product, right? How do you actually get eyeballs? How do you actually get people to see your product, right? So I spent all this time and energy filming, and it was very hard. And I had like redid the videos so many times and went to different locations out in nature to record. And that was like my first failure. My first taste of failure of this thing is just like making money online is difficult. So we decided to move back in 2015 to Southern California and take back over the gym and help my brother out. And man, I just remember it was a struggle. It was a struggle. I tried everything that I could imagine to grow the gym, and nothing seemed to work. I remember taking a walk behind my house and just feeling so defeated, like I was cursed. Like nothing I will ever do will work, and I'm just destined to fail. Like that was my reality. That was like the place of hopelessness that I lived. I call it the dark hole, and it's no fun. It's not a fun place to live. It's just complete hopelessness. But one day I was driving and just praying, complaining, right? A little bit of both. And I got this idea that I should start a program for adults 55 and older. And that's what radically changed my gym. It literally saved my gym because everyone was serving the younger demographic, right? Everybody was doing that. So I really learned the power of differentiation. Like if everyone's doing the same thing in your market, like find an underserved demographic in your market, create an offer for them because there's no competition, right? Nobody was doing that. So I created a whole community, as you can see here, and they're all 55 and older, and it blew up. We got to like 10K. It blew up in my opinion, right? So we got to 10K a month in like 5-6 months, which is a lot for a gym where we're charging $200 recurring, right? 12-month contracts. And I grew that all through paid ads, Like most people are all about like organic only. Like I was always a paid ads guy. I loved the leverage. And before that, this is me running paid ads. This was me in my gym here in my lobby, um, just practicing paid ads. Like a lot of them would fail. And most of those failures were because of the competition. There's a lot of boot camp style gyms in that area. But because I started this new thing, that blew up really quickly and no one was doing it. And it saved my gym and it allowed me to sell my gym in 2019. But this is the kind of money I made, right? It wasn't great. It wasn't a lot. 2017 made 165,000. 2016, this is like my little portion I took home from the business. My brother took home the rest. 2018, that's really when we started the Super 50. Made about 230,000. And with a gym though, you have a lot of overhead. So I was probably taking home like 50, 60K or something. So nothing crazy. Because of the gym model, there's a lot of overhead. You got a lot of team, a lot of requirements, and that really is what caused me to want to move. That desire to have online money again came back. This whole magic money internet thing, right? How do we do that? And so I sold the gym in 2019, started my online marketing business in 2019. I took my skills and my passion for running ads, because that's really what worked for me in my gym. And I started helping other gym owners with that. Right. And we moved to Austin, took off from California, sold the gym for $120,000. Right. It's not life-changing money, but it was to me at that time. We paid off all our debt. It felt amazing. After a year of trying to sell the gym, it finally went through. We were able to go to Austin, which is a place we've really wanted to move to. We bought this house in 2019, which was like perfect timing. That's a whole God story right there. Testimony of like we couldn't even qualify for this house, but a series of events happened, because I sold the gym and you need like steady income to buy a house normally. Long story short, we got it. We got it for 300,000 in 2019, right before real estate really boomed. We still have this house. We're back in California now, but I do Airbnb it, which is a nice little investment. So the next season of life here, good old advertising agency. These guys, you may not even know them, but Dan Henry, right? The good old SMMA business opportunity. He was the first course that I bought, and it felt like such a huge investment, $1,000, I believe it was. And I sat on that course for about a year. I think that was like in 2018. Didn't do anything with it, but just kept entertaining the idea of starting, running ads for other businesses. But once again, man, I had a lot of limiting beliefs. Even though I was a decently experienced gym owner and I can help other gyms, I still had these limiting beliefs. Like I was running up against a lot of imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to help gym owners? I never made millions, right? So it's funny how we just go to this drastic extreme. Like, I'm no Alex Hormozy. I can't compete with Gym Launch. It's just funny, right? Instead of just realizing, like, man, I have skills and I can help people. But thankfully, I hired a coach, this guy, Mike Barron, and he's a character. Love this guy, but he's definitely like OG thug, uh, rock the Lambos type dude. He's funny, but he helped me a lot, man. He helped me a lot. I signed up with him. It was like 10K program. That was in 2019, and he helped me because he was running an ad agency type thing. And that's something I always just believe, right? Like I always believed that if you want something, hire a mentor, hire a coach. Instead of wasting years of your life trying to figure it all out on your own, staying stuck in your head and you know, living in your own limiting beliefs, like borrow the confidence of someone that's been there. They have what you have. They have the lifestyle that you want, and go and pay them. I didn't have the money to pay them. That's what credit cards are for. 0% interest credit cards. And that's the leap of faith that I took. I finally decided to make the leap into this whole online marketing space. And I remember signing my first client for $1,000 a month. She was a gym owner in Minnesota. And I told her I would help her do what I did, which is grow her 50 plus program within her gym. So the senior fitness marketing, right? And that was a surreal feeling. I'm like, wow, $1,000. Like I've never made this much money from one client in my life. And it just felt so easy. So that set me on the path to signing like 9 more clients in the next couple months, really just from my organic network from other gym owners in the franchise that I was in, just reaching out to everybody organically. It was a hustle and it was a grind for sure. But I was making more money than I ever have in my life because I was doing it all myself, right? I was doing everything myself, running the ads, doing the sales calls, onboarding, managing their teams, coaching them on sales. It was a mess, right? And I remember seeing this guy, Joel Kaplan. He's another SMMA guru dude. And this was around 2020, 2019, end of 2019, after I stopped working with Mike Barron. And that's just something else I believe as well. Like I believe God will bring someone that has the solutions you're looking for at the right time. He will put them in front of you. At least that's how it's worked for me in the last 14 years of business. And you can feel it. And I'm a big believer in intuition, like trust your gut. And I saw this guy's testimonials. He was credible. He ran his own agency and paid another 10 grand, right? Dropped another 10K because I was stuck at 10K a month. I needed to learn how to build a team. And more importantly, I needed to learn how to run paid ads on a national level. Like I could run ads locally. I was confident with that, like for local gym markets and all of that. But I didn't know how to run ads to get clients online for my own online marketing business, right? I didn't know how to do it. I tried and I wasted money, but this guy promised he could help me with that. So sure enough, though, he did follow up on his promise and he helped me really learn how to craft good ads to get clients online. And from that point of working with him, we went from like 10K to 35K a month in a relatively quick time period. This is like right before COVID. So I was charging like $1,700 a month. I remember we got this guy, John, from an ad that I ran. And it was one of the best feelings, man, to be able to just be a rainmaker, right? Like to finally have control over the growth of my business, to know how I can get clients, to have a predictable way to get clients instead of just relying on organic and hoping people refer this month and just praying for more clients. Like, no, I finally had a system where I can put in $100 a day. I can get these booked calls. I have a solid offer to sell. And it's just everything kind of came together. And we were scaling and we were helping him crush it. Like it was all good. Like John, he ran an aquatic boot camp, right? And very interesting business, but he helped people get fit through aquatics. And he was signing people at $600 for like a 6-week challenge. We helped him run it with ads, craft the offer, and he was literally selling 1 to 3 new clients every day. And he had 2 locations, so $600, 1 to 2 of those every single day. He was happy. He was crushing it. And, we signed up people like Patrick. He was an online fitness coach. He still is. And we helped him get to $50K a month through paid ads. He tried to do paid ads on his own, but at the time we had a full done for you service. That's what we focused on. So we were able to just really drop his cost per lead and just cut his expenses in half and really get him quality leads that he can sign up his clients. So not only did we do it for the local, we were also able to duplicate our paid ad strategy into his online business, which he was based in Canada. And so was Miguel, actually, from Canada. Driven Life. He has a solid brand. This guy's great at sales. And that's how he was able to scale to over 100K a month, because he already had a solid sales system. And we were just able to come in with the ad strategy and drive the traffic into his offer so that he can crush. Right. And then Barbara here, one of our long-term clients, transitioned from gym. She still owns a gym, but started an online coaching thing, and she dropped $6,000 on ads. We brought her 1,200 leads and 135 sales at $199 a month. These were on like 12-month commitments as well. So we locked in for her over like $20,000 in recurring revenue. Once again, she was great at sales, and we just did our part with the marketing. So things were going really well, and then good old COVID hit, right? And then we lost 50% of the business in a matter of weeks, right? So that was a bummer. That was a very difficult time. But once again, the Lord is good and faithful, and he brought to me this little known character, Alex Hormozy, right? March 4th, 2020. He hits me up in the DMs. Because funny side note, like I got a lot of my clients from Gym Launch, because Gym Launch at the time did not offer done for you ad services, right? And like, sweet, I offer that. I know all of their Gym Launch systems because my brother was in Gym Launch, and I got access to the courses, and I logged in and watched all of that stuff. I was never an official client of Gym Launch. My brother was, because he had his own gym at that time as well. Because we parted ways, and he started his own thing. So anyway, another side note is funny, because Layla, his wife, hit me up and was like, yeah, you got to stop hitting up our clients. And she was very polite about it. And I was like, I totally understand. I won't hit them up anymore. So, but up until that point, I literally like DM'd all of their clients. I was like, hey, I can run your ads. Here's a guy that I helped. And they loved it, because they didn't want to run their ads, because it took a lot of time. So we were able to solve that for them. For $1,000 a month, we'll run your ads. And they loved it, because we got them way better results on the ads, because we were just good at what we did, right? But anyway, Alex hit me up during this, right before COVID, really, the lockdowns and all of that. He's like, hey, I might have something for you. And that's when he started his Allen software, where he started helping other agency owners like myself. So I was one of the first ones to jump on. And this really taught me the power of offers, right? The power of offers, because at this point in time, what I was doing, a lot of other people were doing it. Hey, pay me $1,500 a month. I'll run your ads. So Hormozy came up with an offer that we can use, which is a pay per show model, right? He's like, hey, charge $4K up front, and then only charge pay per show. It's like, hey, and then he was like, hey, you can take this to the gyms and your online coaches and let them know that it's more of a performance-based system. Like, you pay the one-time fee for the system, we build it out, and then you only pay when we get people to show up to their consultation, right? So it was really good offer. Sounds really nice and beautiful on the front end, and it was for a little bit. I remember as soon as I put this in an ad, like, it literally blew up. All I did was just like a basic ad, like, hey, pay per performance. And because the offer was so new, right? Because nobody's ever heard of this pay per performance, and everyone's been burned by agencies, this blew up. It blew up. We made a lot of money. We made it on his testimonial site here of Alan. He told our story, and we were on track to do like 500K in that year, and it worked really well for a long time. It literally saved my business. Like, it literally saved my business during COVID. And like, we would message, he would coach me. I don't know why it doesn't show the image anymore, but this is just bragging rights. Alex Hormozy said I have good ads. He took a screenshot of one of my ads and he was like, "Hey, this is a good ad." I was like, "Oh, he really thinks I have skills in advertising." And this is before acquisition.com. This is before people knew him. He was just the rich guy that made $1 million a month. And only if you're in the gym space, you knew him for the most part. Right. So that was that season. Right. And ultimately, I ran that for about a year, this offer, and it came to an end because of a few reasons. One of them was it was pretty expensive. Like, Alan took 1,000 or 2,000 off of the 4K fee, and then they took like, $30 per show. So it made it expensive, ate a lot of profits. But the biggest thing is it became adversarial with the clients. Like, they would argue about if people showed up. The Alan software wasn't as perfect as everyone thought it was. So like, it would mark people as like they showed, and they would get billed, and then the gym owner's like, "This guy never showed," or they would show and they were just a complete, like, don't even have a car, they're homeless, and now the gym owner's pissed because they had to pay $60 for that show, right? So that was another huge lesson of like, things really can sound marketable and sellable, but how you deliver them is another story. And the adversarial relationship with clients just got to be at a point where I'm like, this is no fun. Like, I want the good vibes with my clients. I don't like this. So we stopped. We went back to just the traditional agency model. And then I really got burnt out on it, though. I really got burnt out on it. Was a lot of work. Even though I had a team, it was a constant churn. Like, clients would stay for a few months for a variety of reasons. Like, a lot of them just weren't good at sales. And at that time, we were just doing the advertising. We weren't really coaching them on all of the other aspects of running a business. So a lot of people would fail. We'd get them a lot of leads, but they just didn't know how to work the leads, or they didn't know how to sell. So the churn was very high, which was hard for business. Constantly on the rat race, chasing new clients. And I just wanted a different business model. I wanted something more reoccurring, something more stable, easier to sell. And that's where I tried another business venture, VA placement, right? I got this idea, and it was all about, because I've been using VAs to run our client ads. I'm like, hey, why not just train these VAs and then charge a one-time fee and then place them with other businesses, and I'll take a small percentage of what they pay the VA. Sounded good on the front end, but what I found out was it was a nightmare to scale. Right. It worked out for like a handful of clients. And then I was trying to get like 20 and 30. Then I was like managing all these VAs. And what I realized is, anytime you have more people you have to manage, the more headaches you get. Right. So I share this one. So you see, like, I really believe you should be a scientist. I really believe you should test things. I really believe you should try it out. And like, you don't have to be married to any one way, right? You should follow your gut. And some things aren't going to work. Back then, I still didn't have this mindset of like, hey, just be a scientist. It's okay if it fails, which I feel more confident nowadays. But man, I took this pretty hard. I'm like, man, I really thought this was it. Like, I felt so strong in my gut. Like, God was leading me to this business opportunity, and it was supposed to work out, and it didn't. So my soul just felt crushed. And I remember I got COVID during this season, and like our income was going down. Got the PPP money that was able to sustain us. So I was just like sick in every way, just hopeless and sick. And this didn't work out. This is my one hope. And that's a tough place to be. It's really hard to be a good entrepreneur if you don't have hope. So thankfully, once again, these are long seasons. I'm shortening, right? But one night I remember scrolling through YouTube, and I came across this guy's video, Sam Carlson. he created this software called Upex, right? And I'm watching this video at night. It was late at night. And my wife's like, can you turn that off? I was too bright. Go to sleep. And I'm like, no, I really need to watch this, because it was just like one of those things I felt, once again, intuition. Like, no, I think he's on to something here. I really need to watch this. So I watched his whole pitch, his webinar, and he basically talked about this new opportunity to sell software that can run Facebook ads in 3 clicks. Like, that was the whole pitch. Instead of people needing to hire an agency, they can just get this software that can run ads in 3 clicks. So I was all in on it. I got on a call and I signed up for the software. I was able to white label it, meaning I just put my own label on it. It's Go High Level and Upex. So now I can sell this software as just a complete package. Like, hey, for only $500 a month, you can get this software. And instead of hiring us for $1,500 a month, right? So we had this affordability pitch to gym owners, to my list, and the simplicity, right? These are the dynamics of a good offer, right? If you know Hormozi's value equation, like, what's the dream outcome? Reduce the level of effort and sacrifice, the amount of time it takes, right? So, hey, in 3 clicks, you can get the same results as you would get with our agency. And I remember this season of life, man, I was just like working a lot, trying to figure things out. And I had this like really deep desire to just spend more time with my kids. Like, they were at a young age and I felt like I was missing out on a lot of their life. I got 3 kids now. I had 2 at the time. And I just wanted to like be with them and just like relax and not have this constant pressure on my soul to provide and to grind and to work so much. So this was my solution. Like, all right, I think this could be the avenue to help me do this, to help me work less, right? And, this is our next season of life. So the end of 2022, that desire became a reality. I was able to scale that offer because of the sellability, right? And just the newness of it. Once again, offers, if you can differentiate, like, better is better than, or what is it? I don't know. I'm going to butcher the saying, but to be able to differentiate, once again, that's the principle of like having an offer that stands out, that's different than what everyone else is offering. You can do that through your offer. You can do that through your marketing, like your personality, your unique mechanisms. There's many ways to do that. But ultimately, we ended up moving from Austin because we were there for 3 years. We turned our house into an Airbnb and we hit the road. I bought this behemoth of a fifth wheel, which was just a dream. It had a little office room in here and we just traveled the country. I've always wanted to do that and we just made it happen. We made it happen. We took the leap, bought this truck and trailer, an RV, fifth wheel, and had a couple cool toys, e-bike. We had the time of our lives, man. And yes, it was stressful as well. It wasn't perfect. Like, this little one here does not like all the change. So it was hard for him to be in new places all the time. He's very routine structured. This is Legend. This is Journey. And this is Jaira. And this is my wife, Kaylee, by the way. So we did that for 6 months and I was able to only work like 4 hours a week. And I still made 8 to 10K a month in profit because I had a good offer. I had ads that brought in constant leads and had a small team that can fulfill for me. And it wasn't hard to fulfill because it was software that I was selling, right? And it was a beautiful season of 6 months. And really just like, we didn't even know where we wanted to live. Like, our whole goal was, all right, God, like, we know you have somewhere new for us because Austin wasn't it. You can just tell inside, right? If you're, and for us, it was allergies. Like, we were literally allergic to everything every season of the year in Austin. So we hit the road. We did a lot of national parks, a lot of fun stuff. And one of the key transformations that happened for me in this season was like just a real removal, a real surrender of like, man, I don't need all these riches. I don't need the millions. I don't need to scale to all of that. Like, I'm fine living in this RV. Like, I feel so at peace with myself. Because before that, I just had this obsessive like need to be successful, right? And I feel like it was really unhealthy. And just having that deep inner relationship with God and being at peace with myself. I remember reading this book of like the ruthless elimination of hurry. And one of my favorite parts of traveling in an RV is just getting to be outside and be in different forests all the time. Like, it was so peaceful, so serene. Like, I just felt at peace. I'm like, I could live this way the rest of my life, just being in nature consistently and just making like 10K a month. Like, I'm good. All right. So anyway, we relocated back to Northern California, which is where I met my wife. And best decision ever. This is a small town. We love it. And once again, it's just a testimony of God will lead you. If you trust, you may not know what it's going to look like we didn't know. We didn't know where we're going to land, didn't know where we wanted to live. California was definitely not on the map because I'm very conservative. I didn't like all the way they govern here in taxes. But things just worked out. We ended up getting him in school that he loves and started a new chapter of life. Right. But this is just to show you transparently. I haven't made the most money in my life yet. I'm only 37, but this is just to show you, like 2019, my agency did 212, 20, 370, 2021, 340, 2022, 322. Because when we started selling software, it's a little bit lower price point, right? We're still on the path. The goal is still 100K a month profit, 30-ish% the way there. We're going to make it happen, and it's going to be fun. Because that's the beautiful part about the Freedom Creator Way, is that you can do it without grinding your soul to the ground. Okay. So some of the downsides of the SaaS offer, because I was still selling this probably for like a year as well, is without having high ticket, it was a challenge to spend money on ads, right? To spend money on ads, make it profitable, you got to have some sort of high ticket offer. Retention was not as good as I thought. I thought since it was software, it'd be sticky. But because I was solving a marketing problem without giving them the coaching and all of that, they weren't getting as good of results with just the software, because they still had to do some things, and they had this expectation that the software should just do everything, like sell their clients for them, all that. So, and people still perceived us as like a done-for-you agency. So it was hard to break that box. So those were the downsides that caused me to abandon this model. And we really went back to the drawing board. This was in 2023, after we settled in this back in California. My desire was to build again. I wanted to make more money. I'm like, I have all this free time, which is cool, but I want to build. I want to put my effort and energy into something. And I kind of got back under the Hormozi bandwagon, got his book. I remember listening to his book on a road trip down to Santa Cruz. And I just remember like listening to the part on ads, because I've always loved paid ads, but I haven't ran paid ads in a few months or so. And he was just talking about how the power of paid ads, being able to scale with paid ads. Like, if you're really good at paid ads, it's just the ultimate unlock in your business. And it brought back all of those feelings of how I used to run ads to get clients. So I'm like, all right, we're going to go all in. So I created a new offer for dentists, hired a closer, setter, ended up having a really big team of like 8 people, 2 client success managers, multiple VAs, and it became a little complex. And we started to crush though. We were selling this full done for you offer to dentists. Like, hey, we'll run your ads. We're going to use AI. We have a call center that will call all of your leads. And it was a very easy to sell offer. We were spending $8,000 a month on ads. And yeah, we crushed it. This was November of 2023. Made $42K the month before that. Made $47K in November, a 5x ROAS. So I really discovered the power of scaling with ads, not just a little bit, but spending a lot of money. From my perspective, obviously there's people out there spending $100,000 a month, but for me, this was a lot of money. And it was really awesome to see it working, to have a closer closing and all of that. But then it just all fell apart. One, it just became way too stressful, right? I became what I call a scale slave. Just a slave to the scale, just to keep on grinding. And I realized I'm not a guy that wants to build $100 million business. I don't need this big team to manage. Why am I doing this? And the breaking point for me was really just one day, like, my kids were like, dude, they didn't even want to be around me because I was cranky all the time, because I was stressed. And I was constantly having to chase new clients and the stress of having to provide for my closers and feed my closers and feed my setter and keep paying my client success managers, keep this hamster wheel going, right? Keep the show on the road, but there was low profit margins, right? It was negatively affecting my health, my family. And I started to just build up resentment, and I didn't see a way out. I'm like, man, I have no clue. Like, I think I just have to keep pushing through because I'm good at that. I can stuff my heart. I can stuff my emotions really well. And I can ignore a lot of my values for the sake of the goal. Like, I'm not a quitter. I will grind if I have to. I will survive. I'm a survivor. And I spent a lot of my time, most of my years in that survival mode, right? Just getting it done, doing what I need to do to provide for the family. But I was in scarcity mode all the time, and that's just not a fun place to live. And it reminds me really of the quote. She's a life coach. I forget her name, Brooke Castillo, I think. And she's like, burnout isn't directly related to the amount of hours you work, but a relationship to the emotions that fuel your work. And that just really hit me. I'm like, that's totally true. That's 100% true. Like, if you're doing work you love, it doesn't matter about the hours. It's just the emotions. Like, the state of mind I was in was always scarcity, always grinding, and it just erodes the soul, right? And the worst thing was, I just believed I just got to keep grinding so I could one day have the idea of selling the business. That my solution was to keep pushing through so I can sell this piece of crap that I've built. And in 2024, I came across this guy. I followed Dan Bolton, a mentor now, and he was like, you're probably not growing your business because we don't grow into pain. If you have a model that causes a lot of pain emotionally and stress, like, subconsciously, you're not going to want to grow that thing. And that's what I realized was happening to me. I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to bring clients on anymore. I didn't want to sign clients because I was just burnt out on everything that I was doing, the way I was doing it, the way I was delivering the solutions, the people I was working with. Everything was misaligned, and I had no idea. I didn't even think about alignment. I was just trying to make money, right? Like, what are you talking about alignment? Like, dream clients and doing work you love, and like most people are just like I was like, I'm just trying to get clients and make money. I don't know what you're talking about, all this fulfillment stuff. What do you mean you can enjoy your work? Like, I remember hearing Dan talk about how he has 0% business stress. I was like, you effing liar. But then I realized I've known this guy. He's not lying. And I was inspired. I was pissed off and inspired all at the same time. Inspired that there could be a better way, a better model to build. And just pissed off that my whole business that I've built was stress. And it was 100% my own fault. And because that's just all I knew, right? That's just all I knew was just there's only one way to do this. And you just got to grind it out, right? You just got to do it. So 2024 kind of went back to the drawing board again, right? If you notice all of the iterations I've made, there's been a lot of changes, and that's one of my strengths is my ability to adapt. Sometimes that shoots me in the foot because you do have to start over at some level. But I'm on the pursuit, man. I'm just on the pursuit of this outcome of the freedom creator, of being able to build a business that you actually love, that as it grows and continues to get bigger, that your life actually improves as well, instead of being a scale slave where it's just like stressful. And that doesn't mean you don't ever do hard things, but it does mean that you can have a business model that is conducive to fueling an amazing life, where you can do the work that is meaningful to you, do work that you love, have consistent clients coming in, get paid really good money, not have to be working 24/7, 8-hour work days. Like, that's not the life I'm about. And I was able to get clear on that this year in 2024. I actually had another dream about consulting, and I always think people will judge me because I make decisions based on dreams, but I really don't care because they are powerful, and God has led people through dreams throughout the entire Bible. You can check it out. But I had this dream And in this dream, I was driving in a car with my brother, who was my closer at the time. And we were going up this hill and we got stuck. And we turned around, we came down the mountain, and we came upon this, what I now know as a guide, but it was just someone that gave us direction. And he said in the dream, he's like, yeah, you don't want to go up there. You've already been down that road. Where you need to go is down to Consulting Drive, right? So that's all he said. And then I woke up and I thought it was interesting. And that's usually how dreams are when God's speaking to you. You'll have a sense of, oh, that's interesting. So I always write down all of my dreams because sometimes they're dreams that don't matter. Sometimes they're hidden wisdom, right? It's the glory of God to conceal a matter, and it's the glory of kings to search it out. That's a proverb. So God likes to play hide and seek, basically. And to seek things out, to seek out the mystery and the wisdom is a glory of ours. That's something that is a beautiful part of being a human and being in relationship with the all-knowing creator. Okay. So I didn't do anything with that, but I knew I've always wanted to start a coaching consulting type business. Because up until this point, I did some coaching for our clients, but it was mostly done for you services. And I had all these boxes around like business models. Like you can only be an advertising agency or you could only be a coach. They're 100% different things. And I just realized those boxes and labels are just doing us a disservice. Like I work with, now it's like I see it all as one model, and we'll get into that later, where you can have services, you can have coaching. But yeah, I won't get ahead of myself. So anyway, 2024, I worked with Dan at the beginning of this year and read this book, 10X is easier than 2X. And that really changed my life. The whole premise was that to make a 10X leap is easier than 2X because 10X requires you to think in a total different paradigm, to think in a new way. And I read it like twice on Audible, just would turn it up 2X speed because I was just getting new things every time I would listen to it. And I realized my next leap to get to 100K a month, because that's been a goal for a long time, was not doing the same things that I've been doing. I need to lean into my zone of genius. I need to lean into doing only what I can do. And those things that I realized was I need to get better at content, building a personal brand, right? And 2, I need to be consulting and coaching. That's the scalable model. And that's something I actually love and I actually enjoy it. So because one of the questions in there was like, what can you do for the rest of your life, even if you never got paid for it? I'm like, dude, I talk to people about business all the time. Like I love diving into people's businesses and developing strategy, helping them go to the next level, especially around paid advertising and especially around online coaching. So alignment, that's what 2024 has been about. Aligning my who am I working with? Only working with Dream Fit clients, online coaches, people that are out there changing the world, that have a mission that transform people's lives in the health, wealth, relationship, spirituality categories. So I don't just work with just one type of coach either. I don't believe in niching like that, at least for my situation. I believe you should niche around problems, get really good at solving problems, be known for solving certain problems, right? Side note, but health coaches, relationship coaches, that is my mission, is to help them create freedom in their business. So I got aligned with my who. I got aligned with my business model of a way that's scalable, that can get to 100K a month with 80, 90% profit margins while only doing fulfillment work for 10 hours a week, right? So I needed a name to encompass this whole business model that I created, which is the Freedom Creator way, right? And it encompasses the aligned offer, the authority content ecosystem. This is how to take people from cold to sold. The conversion path is how to get leads, turn those leads into customers, turn those customers into clients, so ticket products and whatnot. So I really developed all these unique mechanisms that I've learned over the last 14 years leverage, right? Having the right software, having the right team, having the right systems, having personal mastery, mastering the inner game, right? Like Tony Robbins says, success is 80% psychology. So the way you think. Even better sources like the Bible and Proverbs talks about how you should guard your heart above everything else. Guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. When the Bible says heart, it talks about your beliefs. It talks about your thoughts, right? The Bible says you should take your thoughts captive. So it's important. The inner game. This is stuff most people don't think. They just think the tactics, but so that's a huge component of living this free life, what I call the free life, making 20 to 100K a month profit, working with dream clients, doing the work you love that's meaningful, 4-hour work days, 4-day work weeks, all that good stuff, right? And then the aligned offers. This is how to create irresistible offers, but also aligned. So they're aligned with your season, you're aligned with your life, the problems you solve, the way you solve the problems, all that good stuff. And we'll dive into all of this in modules below. This is just an intro. But anyway, I really came up with the name Freedom Creators because I wanted something, an aspirational identity that people can relate to and that was resonant with me, that was authentic to me. And I remember watching this movie about Harriet Tubman, the ultimate freedom creator, right? She literally rescued slaves, like the most amount of slaves. And she had God's help to do it. If you've seen the movie, if you haven't, you should watch it. It's very inspirational. But she would literally fall into a trance and God would like download direction to her and show her exactly where to go, where not to go to help these slaves get north to freedom. And it really resonated with me because I've always been on the mission of freedom. I believe that's what the gospel is all about. I believe that's what Jesus is all about. You know, he says that we were anointed. He was anointed, to set the captives free. That's also our mission as humans. And then you can actually create freedom for yourself by setting other people free. Setting other people free in a multitude of ways. And indirectly, I get to be a part of that by helping coaches scale their businesses. Because whether or not you're helping someone heal their marriage or get out of debt or grow their business or any multitude of problems, when you solve those problems, you're bringing freedom to their life, right? And that is what fuels me. That is my mission, is to help online entrepreneurs live the free life, live the freedom creator life. And that's how I came up with the name. And creators is really just that, right? Like we're not victims. We're the head. We're not the tail. We are creators of our life, right? That really speaks to me about the power that we have. Like throughout the Bible, God says, we've been given the power to create wealth, not just one day hope that it'll fall into my lap, which I had that mindset for a very long time of that people are just going to give me money or something. Or like, if God wants me rich, it'll just happen. It's like, nah, we have been given the power to create it. So Freedom Creators really encompasses this new model of running an online business, helping other people get free. And that way you can have freedom yourself, freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of location, and freedom of purpose, where you can actually live your life as a calling. And I realized most of us have it backwards. When it comes to building a business, we're all about the tactics, right? All the gurus come along and say, hey, this is the best way to do this. This is the best way to market, or this is the best business model. And I used to live like this as well. And what that does is it creates a lot of anxiety. Because as soon as something doesn't work and you watch another YouTube video or a course, you think that's the new way that I should be doing. And the reality is no, you just needed to commit and stick to one thing and refine it for a year, right? So you just get blown about. You're not anchored. You have no solid core to build upon, right? And I realized that I needed to build a business based on principles and values, because the way I was doing it, I was just adopting other people's beliefs and values. Like, I don't want to build $100 million business. That sounds really stressful. I want to build a 100K a month business, 80, 90% profit margins, work when I want to, do meaningful work, only work with dream clients, not have to do sales calls if I don't want to. And then that's possible. People are doing it. What a thought. But so you got to build your business based on your principles, based on who you are, your identity, your values. Like, I'm a Christian, man. I believe in that God is more involved than we realize in our life. And my worldview is that way through of generosity, like these principles. And these principles really act as barriers, as guardrails, so that when you go to create something, if it doesn't line up with your principles, you don't do it. It helps you make decisions. All right. So then on top of that, you can have your strategy, which is the overarching strategy. And then you have your tactics, like the how to, like how do you deploy the strategy? For example, I have a mechanism called the authority content ecosystem. The strategy is paid ads and strategic content. That's the way to grow your brand. That's the way to grow your business. The tactics, the automated school system. That's one way to implement the strategy. Okay. There's many ways to implement that strategy. So that's an example. But it's the principles as well that guide every decision that I make. So I won't go through all of these, but this is an example of the values that I fleshed out, the values that I got aligned with, these core values that I've had. And that whenever I got away from them, like earlier, like the end of 2023, when I was just scale slaving, I realized I was out of alignment with my values. And that's why I feel so stressed and anxious. Like, that's not what I value in life. I value freedom. I don't value just scaling to the moon, having 40-person team and, having thin margins. Like, not fun. Not my ideal way of creating business. So guard your heart. Like I talked about, this comes from the word above all else, guard your heart. This speaks to the value of the importance of the inner world. Managing my thoughts. What are my emotions? Because my emotions come from my thoughts, my perceptions. And that's a huge value. And then grace over grind. That really speaks to the emotions you work from. You don't have to toil all day long. You don't have to grind all day long. That doesn't mean you don't work hard. It just means you can live from a place of grace where you have this safety net because you're a son of God. You're a child of God and you have a good father and he takes care of us. Like, business is a calling. Like, I believe business gets more fulfilling when you attach it to a higher mission and a higher calling, and it's not just about you. Business is about freedom, leading the movement, like going from just a marketer, going from just a coach to someone that is leading a movement. That's a whole nother, we're not going to go into all that right now, but simplicity, like generosity, living in a pack. That's like speaks to the community, embracing courage. Like, I remind myself of all of these because I need to be reminded as well. And then lastly, like, be a scientist. Everything's a test. You don't have to get married to one single way. If it doesn't work, pivot and try something else. So ultimately, you need a code. Maybe some of these resonate with you, but you need a code to live by, to build your business upon. That way you're stable. You have a strong foundation. And like, for me, practically, that also looks like having restraints. Like, I have kids, I have a family. I'm not just going to work 8 hours a day. Like, I'm going to put my kids down every day. I'm going to eat dinner with them. I'm going to see them off to school. I'm going to take trips every 3 months, right? Like, those are some non-negotiables that come out of your code. Okay, so this is, once again, this is the Freedom Creator Way. Talk about results. Personally, my results have just way more fulfillment. I'm working with clients that I love, and it feels effortless because I'm in my zone of genius. I'm doing the work that I love to do, and I get to wake up to testimonials like this. This is Kim. She's a real estate flipping coach. And within 13 weeks, we helped her get to 10K a month recurring revenue. When she first came to me, she was doing like one-off sales. Her business model was a mess, was super stressed out. So we just brought simplicity with the aligned offer and recurring revenue. We changed some pricing things. We changed some things with her ads. And within 13 weeks, she's at 10K a month. And she's adding at least 4 or 5K a month every single month now. And it's just going to continue to get better using the Freedom Creator Way, creating more freedom in her life, right? That's what we're all after. Patrick, talked a little bit about him, really focused on paid ads for this guy. He had a good sales system as well, but we helped him get to 50K a month. And then we got my man DeMarcus here. So I work with a variety of different types of clients. He does a pretty unique done for you service where he flies out a team to med spas and runs these like AI events. And most people would think, oh, that's so unscalable. But for him, we tapped into the aligned offer, which is aligning with your season. And sometimes it looks like doing the unscalable. But we had a conversation the other day and he's like, dude, I'm making so much money, more than I ever have in the last, 10 years. And it just feels so easy. And I'm wondering why this is. Because for so long I grinded and tried so hard and didn't make this kind of money. But we realized it's just like his offer. And sometimes it just takes longer than we expect. Yeah, we see all these like $1 million a day, $1 million a year experiences on YouTube and all this hype. But the reality is, at least for a lot of people that I know, that it takes a long time. You're not an overnight success. It's like, yeah, it took you 15 years. Like for me, I'll blow up eventually. Or I'll hit those 100K months profit. But it took me 14 years to get there because every season that I just talked to you about, I learned something paramount. I learned another piece of the puzzle that had to come together. And that's what I believe I have now is like the complete picture, which is the Freedom Creator way to really build this type of business. So that's a little bit of my journey. If you're still here, congratulations, man. You listened to me ramble, but I hope it gave you some insight, some context to the type of content I create, why I create the type of content, because my goal is to help you not just in your business, but have a holistic level of success where you actually love the business you created. You have freedom to enjoy your family, to live an amazing life, and to inspire you that's possible, that you can do it. Because I truly don't think I'm a genius. I'm definitely ain't no Elon Musk, and I feel like things take a lot longer for me than most people. So if I can do it, you can do it too. If you want to take this to the next level, you'll have a link below if you want my help. Right now, I do one-on-one coaching. This is a free one-on-one call with me at the time of this recording, and I'll help you walk through in 30 minutes. What are the bottlenecks? What is the roadmap for you that you need to focus on to get to the next level in your business? This isn't code word for a sales call. You can't buy anything on this call. This is simply here to help you. If you want to know more about my offer, I'll definitely let you know, but you still can't buy anything just so you can leave your credit card at home. Okay. Just wanted to get that out of the air. Here to provide value. So this will also unlock all the other courses, right? So if you look in the course section, whenever you book that call with me, it's like an onboarding call, so you should get the most out of it. All of these courses will be unlocked for you. And these are the unique mechanisms that I mentioned here in the Freedom Creator way, right? They're all here in course format. This is going to help you. And then below this video, you'll see, right, no leads. I'll have a whole video on this. If you have a bad offer, no sales, if you have no recurring revenue, we'll have individual videos. Right now, you're right here, listening to my story, okay? You can also unlock everything, if you don't want to book a call, by getting 5 likes. That's how the leaderboard system works, is whenever you comment and someone likes your post, you get one point. So if you get 5 points, you'll automatically level up and unlock all the courses. So that being said, I think I've talked long enough. Book a call with me. I can help you, and that'll unlock everything. Or comment on these posts and or just comment some other things here. And whenever someone likes your post, you'll level up to the next level. It's not that hard to get 5 points. See you in the next video.